Hi friends, welcome back to Calm in the Chaos Homeschool. So today I'm going to be giving a term 2 update on my 5th and 6th graders and how their independent work curriculum is going. My last 2 videos were our morning time or morning basket, things like that. So I covered language, Bible, morning basket items, and read alouds in that one. So that one was my first video of the series. And then last week I talked about my family subjects, or the things that we do together as a family. We have geography, history, science, music, and health. Yeah, so 5 subjects there. So if you're interested in those videos, go check out the last 2 videos. But today I'm going to be talking about my younger 2, my 5th and 6th grader. And so basically their math and language arts, and then just a few things on the side there and how things are going with us this term 2. In the middle of this, I am thinking about next year's curriculum. And so those are going to be the videos coming up after this series. I'm going to be talking about my picks for the upcoming school year. So if you're interested in curriculum reviews, updates, and curriculum picks, don't forget to like this video and subscribe so that you see my future videos. Now, my 2 boys, they're, like I said, 5th and 6th grade, but they are only 6 months apart and they do a lot of the same things. And then they also have different abilities and strengths and weaknesses. So in some cases, my 5th grader is doing some things that my 6th grader is not doing, and vice versa. And their levels don't line up exactly to the grade that they're in either. So first of all, I do have my little checklist here. So this is my 5th grader's checklist. And so I'm just having this here so that I can make sure I don't miss anything. The first thing on our daily checklist, so we have 5 days here. The first thing on our daily checklist is their personal devotions. Now the 2 boys do different things. And so my 5th grader, he is doing the Word of Life daily devotions. I will link that here, and I will link below a link to this devotional. He's been using it for at least since last year. He is getting close to the end, and that is just how he likes to do his personal devotions. My 6th grader, he currently is reading out of Psalms. He reads 1 chapter a day, and then he has a notebook where he just writes down one of the verses from that chapter that he liked, and then a short prayer. And so pretty much 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the most, that's how long those 2 take to do their devotions. And then after that, they have math. So here's my binder for my 5th grader. They are both doing CTC Math, and this is where the grade levels kind of get a little bit flip-flopped here. My 5th grader is working on the level 5 for CTC Math. My 6th grader, they last year were both doing 4th grade math. My 6th grader, I decided to have him restart on 4th grade math just to get some of those facts a little faster. He was kind of struggling, and I didn't want to move him into the level 5 math. That has been a really good fit for him. So they're both doing CTC Math, and they're both on different levels in CTC Math. Now, this was the first year that I split them up. I'm really glad that I did, because my 5th grader was ready to move on into the grade 5 concepts. And like I said, my 6th grader just needed to review. So we have been enjoying CTC Math still. I'm using it for 3 of my kids, and it's been working for all 3 of them. My 6th grader, he is coming to the end of the level 4, so we will be able to start level 5 pretty soon, so that is exciting. And I would say my 5th grader is probably on par to finish the level within this year. Now, if you watch my video from my family subjects, you will know that we tend to get really far behind on our family subjects. I will say that math is one of those things that I really try to make sure we complete, if not by the end of the year, during the summer. I don't mind having a few lessons in the summer to finish off. I often have my kids continue to do math in the summer, so I don't mind if there's a few lessons that we don't get to before the end of the school year, but I do like to get those done before a new school year. It's one of those things, if I have to go back and repeat a grade, I will, as I did, but I do want to just kind of complete that within the year. So that is one of the few subjects that I do that way, as you will see with some of this curriculum that I'm showing you. So anyways, this is his CTC binder. CTC Math is online. So this is all stuff that I printed off from either CTC Math or as an organizational tool. For me, I like spreadsheets. So they're doing some speed drills, which they have in CTC Math. So I made up this speed skills record sheet so that they can record how they're doing. They can set goals and try to meet their goals. And so every day they just have, you'll see here, he has a record of what he's done throughout the year. So I have that in here. And then I have their reviews. I have all of the review sheets up here. So I can just see visually, this is how far we are in the year for the reviews. And then I also have all of the lessons typed up, and they keep track of when they pass the lesson and what they get. Once again, I just like to have something physical to see, and I can just see like how far do we have left towards the end of the year. I can just flip the pages and see. So this is something that I just do for CTC Math. They do have all of these records online. I just like the physical visual. The other thing that I did do that is totally unnecessary for some families, but actually my kids have really liked that I did this, and especially my 6th grader, he utilizes this. I printed off all of CTC Math's lesson, like they have a sheet explaining each lesson. And so when he is doing a lesson, he definitely opens up this book and takes a look at this sheet. So my intention is not to print this up each year. It did take a very long time. I'll say this is half of the sheets. So there are a lot of sheets that you would have to print off if you did this. But basically I'm making a level 4 binder, level 5 binder, level 6 binder. And then as my oldest child goes to the next level, I will print off that new level, and then I can just pass it down to my next child. So they're not writing on these sheets, they are saving them for the next child, unless you're the last child. So I thought that maybe this was unnecessary, but for my son who is doing level 4, he really does enjoy having that physical copy as well. So that is math. Math has been going well. I have really enjoyed CTC Math. And so let's move into language arts. So this language arts, this one would be what I would call kind of an all-in-one, kind of. It's very light. It's very light all-in-one. And so we don't use it as an all-in-one. We just use it as one of many components that we use in our homeschool. So language lessons for the elementary child by Queen Homeschool Supplies. And we are working through this. I'm going to say we will definitely still have more to do in this next year for both of my boys. My 6th grader, he is maybe around lesson, looks like 55. My 5th grader is maybe lesson 100. And the reason why he's a little further is just because my 6th grader has a few more different language arts components that I have him work on. So he is busy doing other things. So my 5th grader was able to move ahead in this just because my 6th grader just needs more help in different areas. And I can't give him a larger workload than my 5th grader by much. He has one subject more than my 5th grader, but other than that, they are both kind of at the certain level, and I can't really give either of them more to do. So I do recommend this if you're looking for something simple. It teaches like letter writing skills. It has short, easy grammar lessons. It has picture studies. It has some writing assignments and some copy work. So that is what is in something like this. Next, for writing, my boys are using, I do have 2 curriculum for them. However, the main curriculum that I've been trying mostly to do this term especially has been the IEW's writing lessons, the Fables, Myths, and Fairy Tales. Even though this is the main writing program that I'm using with them, I only do it with them twice a week. And I have not been trying to finish this year at all. So at this point, I'm definitely just trying to get about halfway through, and I do plan on using this again next year. We are just doing lesson 8 at this point, so week 8, because it takes us, I would say, at least 2 weeks, probably 3 weeks per lesson, because we have to get together about 5 times to complete a lesson. And so my boys are not very independent with this, and I only have about 2 days a week where I have enough time to sit down with them to do this. Additionally, especially my 6th grader, he has a really hard time with like the physical active writing. It's just hard for him. So I really can't go super fast in this, and I've been okay with that. That has been about the right amount of writing for my boys. I do find IEW to be a lot if you try to complete everything in 1 year. So I feel like a 2-year schedule for this is not a bad thing. So we've been enjoying this. So we will continue working on this, especially till the end of the school year. And I plan on picking that up again next year. The second writing program that I have been using this year, though I will admit I have not used it much this term at all, is this. It is Jack Chris Publishing's Winning with Writing. This is level 3. I picked it up at the end of last year, so my boys were in 4th and 5th grade, and I just picked it off of a resource shelf, and it just looked like it would be something easy that we could do for writing. I just wanted to do some writing with them at that point, so I picked it up at that point. It is very simple, and I do really like it. It's very easy to hand to my boys and just have them do. And that is why I have been using this as a supplemental writing program this year as well. Now that I have been putting more of an emphasis on making sure I have 2 writing blocks with my boys each week, I have been focusing more on IEW because that is something that takes more of me. However, I did really like having this around to just assign to my boys if they needed to do writing and I just could not sit down with them. So at this point, I'm going to say we are probably done using this for a few reasons. First of all, because I am sitting down with my boys and getting through IEW. So IEW is the main one that we're trying to do, and I'm just trying to make that a priority this term and next term. So we're just going to keep working on IEW, which means I don't need to assign my boys writing that they can do on their own. However, I did really enjoy using this. It was a very easy writing curriculum to just hand to my kids and have them do. Of course, it helps that it was level 3. And my boys were in 4th and 5th grade, and now they're in 5th and 6th grade. But like, especially my oldest, he just really does not love writing. And so I just didn't want to have something that was something he needed a lot of help with, but I wanted him to keep working on his writing. So this fit perfectly for the season that we are in. I don't know if I'll be sharing too much about it next term, just because I hope that I will just keep being able to set aside that time to work on the writing with my 2 boys. So what commonly goes along with IEW is Fix It grammar. My boys have been working on this year, and I would say this has been going well for us. I would say we are on schedule for completing it this year. It does help that there are only 30 weeks and 4 lessons per week. We have a very, very hard time finishing any curriculum that has 5 days a week, 36 lessons. I don't know. That's almost like impossible for us because like who has 5 days a week of school? And then additionally, we do have quite a few different language arts components. And so my boys can only handle so much each day. But this is something that we can do when I assign it, which is about twice a week. They can do 2 days easily, because it is just, they're just labeling one sentence and then they're writing the sentence. So they just have to find all of these things. So They have 2 nouns, a pronoun, 2 adjectives, an adverb clause, 2 subject pairs, capital, end mark, and apostrophe, and then they write it. And so this is something they can do like 2 days worth or 2 pages quite easily. And so that helps us to keep on track with this. So Fix It Grammar has been good, has worked well for us this year. The boys are generally getting most of the things when they've been practicing for a while, they do get it. If there's new concepts, I often do have to help them find those new concepts within the sentence, but over time they do seem to be getting what they're supposed to be getting in Fix It Grammar. So that has been working for us this year for sure. Next, I have Reading Detective from the Critical Thinking Company. Basically, this is little reading comprehension passages. We have reading comprehension passages and then 1 page of questions. I'm going to say this has been a challenge for them. However, not a unsurmountable challenge. I will also point out that this one is for 3rd and 4th grade, and that is definitely the level that I needed to get for my boys. Critical Thinking Company does have pretty challenging, it's really good for critical thinking, and it is challenging. So for my kids, I generally will go a book down, and that pretty much works well for my family. I have enjoyed these reading comprehension books. I'm not sure if I will continue next year. I do have some books to move into, but I'm not sure if we might want to take a break just because my time is limited and they do need help with this. So I think it's been good, but I think it's one of those things where you want to maybe pick up once in a while and then you want to maybe switch it out with something else once in a while. So we'll see about that. I don't know exactly if we'll finish it. Probably not. In which case we'll probably continue it into the next year and then just finish it sometime next year. So we have enjoyed it, and I do plan on finishing this curriculum. And I do think that it has helped my kids' critical thinking skills. They do have testing coming up, like state testing coming up in a few weeks. So it'll be interesting to see if we see some improvement in their reading comprehension skills. That is sort of why I picked this up, because their test taking skills are not great. And so maybe I was hoping to improve their test taking skills a little bit. So we'll see if that made any difference, and I'll let you know in my term 3 update how everything went there. All right, so I have one of my kids' binders here, and we generally keep in here a few different things. So the next thing I have is handwriting. They are both on 2 different levels of handwriting. Another situation where my 5th grader is at a level higher than my 6th grader, because actually my 5th grader has amazing handwriting. He has really, really good fine motor skills. And so he is working on, I think it's level 4 of the Good and the Beautiful's handwriting. And then my 6th grader, he is on level 3 of the Good and the Beautiful handwriting. And so what I do with this binder is I do pull out a few different things to put in here. So we have our Good and the Beautiful handwriting here. We have the writing, that's the writing I just showed you, the Winning with Writing. So I have those in here. We have our Reading Detectives, so they don't have to carry the book around. So I keep that in here, just some lessons in there. And then we have, this is my 5th grader's, he has Wordly Wise. So Wordly Wise, my 5th grader, he's doing book 4. This is new for him, and the reason why I picked it up was kind of to balance out his work with his older brother, because there are a few subjects. I'm going to show you a few more things that his older brother is doing, and they do school basically together most of the day. Maybe not exactly together, but at the same time, they do their, I'm kind of supervising their independent work, and then we do group work as a family. Then I go back to supervising them with their independent work, because my other 2 are older and independent, and they can be in their bedrooms doing their work. And these 2 still need me to be kind of wandering around and checking their checklist and making sure that they're following what they need to do next. So I picked up this one for my 5th grade boy. And I was not sure on how things would go with him. He is one that if he doesn't want to do something, it is pretty hard to get him to do it until it's a habit. So once it's a habit, he's usually pretty good at following through on habits, but when we start something new initially, it can be a bit of a struggle. And I didn't know if Wordly Wise would really work, but I thought I would give it a try, and it has been working well. And I do like that he's been challenged in his vocabulary. He does have a pretty good vocabulary. However, the activities and things that they have here have been challenging enough for him, even though I went a grade down. I do find Wordly Wise to be, I don't know. Maybe my kids are just not, they're just not, advanced in many ways. Some of my kids are advanced in some ways, but in other ways, they are pretty average or struggling in different areas. So I often get level down for them just because I don't want to fight and I don't want it to be just over the top challenging. So this has been perfect for him. I got the right level for him, even though I was questioning if I should have gotten it at all. And then when I looked at it, I was like, oh, is this too hard for him? But he's been doing really good. However, I have slowed this down quite a bit. We are not going to finish it this year. I'm just trying to get through half of it this year, just because, like I said, they have a lot of different language arts components. So this is not one that I'm trying to finish right now. All right, so moving in to some things that my 6th grader does that my 5th grader is not doing right now. He just finished up Explode the Code 6.5. I have had my 6th grader do all of the half levels for Explode the Code. In general, I would say most kids don't need to do the half levels, but he does struggle with writing and phonics and just putting words together. So he has been going through all the half levels. So he just finished 6.5, and we are moving into Explode the Code 7. I will probably get pretty close to finishing Explode the Code 7 this year. Probably will finish it. Then I do have Explode the Code 8 for him to move into. That is the final level. So Explode the Code and Good and the Beautiful Handwriting, I think those are the two that we've been doing since almost the first day of our homeschooling, and we're still doing it now. This is 3.5, 4 years later. So we do change things a lot, but those are ones that have been consistent. And the other times that we stopped doing Explode the Code was because my kids had finished the level 8. So if you're looking for phonetic spelling, that sort of practice, this is a great independent thing that most kids can do independently, and it really just shores up those phonetic skills, those spelling skills. So we have really enjoyed Explode the Code. So the other thing that my 6th grader is doing that my 5th grader does not is spelling UC. He is working on level C. This is still part 1 of 2. So I'm not sure how long we've been working on spelling UC with him. I think we might have started our 2nd year of homeschooling, so this might be his 3rd year into spelling UC. We did B, and it took us about 1.5 years to get through B. And then C is taking us a little bit longer. He is improving in his spelling. He is not getting as many wrong as he used to. Just like his older sister who has been using spelling UC, I've seen a great improvement in both of their spelling this year and maybe last year, him more this year. So it really does work for us, but we do go very slowly. So I would say we only do 2 to 3 times a week, probably closer to 2 times a week. And this is a curriculum that is a 36-week, 5 days a week curriculum. And we do every lesson. We just go at that pace. We just go slow and steady. And it takes us 1 year, 2 years to finish a level. So he'll probably finish this part 1 this year. And then we will move into level C, part 2 next year. And that is not too easy for him. He is just still working on this level. So it works fine for us to move slowly, saves money on buying new curriculum. Yeah, so that's what he's doing for spelling. And my 5th grader, he doesn't do spelling. He is more of a natural speller. If he spells something wrong, I tell him how to spell it, and then he'll spell it right the next time. So he doesn't really have a spelling curriculum. Okay, so reading. I'm just going to show you a few books that they have been reading. So my 5th grader, he just finished up this Usborne's Illustrated Original Around the World in 80 Days. This is a big, fat, thick book with a lot of words that me and my husband didn't even know. He got through it. It does have some pictures, not a lot, some illustrations, some pictures in this version. Anyways, he got through it. He wasn't frustrated. He seemed interested. So I would say I wouldn't suggest this for most 5th graders unless your child is an avid reader who just loves to read. My son, he loves to read, not generally novels and stuff, but he did make it through. He did not complain, and somehow we made it through this book, even though I kind of cautioned against choosing this book as one of his readers. The next book he's going to move into that he just started today is Gandhi, Young Nation Builder. And so these are both 2 reader books that we're doing in our geography. So these are both kind of focused India, kind of. I mean, this isn't exactly India, but maybe India is featured a little more in that one. And then obviously Gandhi was from India. So he's more of my biography. He likes informational books. He likes biographies. He likes true life stories. And so he's going to be reading this as his reader. My 6th grader, he just finished up Ginger Pie. This is a level 4 reader from Sunlight. So I had the level 4 readers, and so I was having my boys go through them last year and then this year. This is a pretty thick book, and it is a little bit older, so it has some old language, but it was perfect for my son, and I think he really enjoyed the story. It has a lot of silly things that happen. I don't exactly know the story because I did not read it with him, but he enjoyed it, so he read Ginger Pie. And now he is reading, and he is almost done. So he is really whipping through this one. He is like almost done there. He is reading Tiger Boy, and he really has just started this. So this is also one set in India, and it does have pretty large, it has pictures and it has large print. So this is a pretty easy book for him even. And he is just getting through it really fast. And I think he really enjoys it. So those are the books that my boys have been reading recently. And so part of their language arts is doing this as well. So this is Not Consume's reading log or reading journal. This is the elementary version, and they have been enjoying this. It actually says for grades 2 to 5. For my 6th grader, this is not too easy for him either. They have been enjoying this. It has a bunch of little different activities. So I only have my boys do this twice a week. And so what they'll do is they'll write the book title, they'll write the pages that they read, the date, their rating, and then there's different activities to do. So this is for a fiction book, and they do have different types of books. And it says, have you ever felt like one of the characters in the story? Yes or no? Explain your answer and draw it. And then here is, what is the setting? Draw a scene from the book that wasn't in the pictures. And then here there's one for any book. So it could be fiction or nonfiction. And so it's a word study. Write 3 verbs from today's reading, draw 1. Write 3 nouns from today's reading, draw 1. Write 3 adjectives from today's reading, draw 1. And then here is another one, fact or fiction. Is this book fact or fiction? Write 3 clues that help you know the answer. So clue 1, 2, and 3. And there are a whole bunch of different activities. They do rotate through, so there might be about maybe 8 pages of different activities. So that would be, I don't know, 16 to 32. I don't know. There's a lot of different activities, but they do rotate through over time. So this is Not Consumed. I will link this below if you're interested in checking that out. I did get the PDF. I do believe they do ship out actual books, I believe, but I like to get the PDF. So then I can just print it off for any of the kids that need it, and I can print as many pages as I want. And so I will link this below along with all the other things that I've mentioned today. I do have 2 more things to share with you that they're working on that are not language arts or math. The first one is Big Life Journal for Kids. My boys are the second batch of kids to go through this. My girls have gone through this probably maybe 3 years ago. They went through this one, and then last year they did the one for teens. They have really been enjoying this, especially my 5th grader. He will go and do extra. So they just like doing this. I don't know. I asked them if they wanted to take a break from this or if they wanted to do the one for teens next, and they both said that they would like to do the one for teens next year. So another spoiler alert, I think we'll be getting Big Life Journal for teens in our next year's curriculum. And then the last thing that my kids are working on is typing.com. If you were here a year ago, I quit typing.com with my kids last year because typing.com would have ads jumping up on the screen. My kids were either getting distracted by it or they were clicking on it, and we were ending up in places I did not want my kids to be. And so we actually stopped all computer usage last year around this time. And then I slowly started adding things like CTC Math, which is all online. And I really wanted my kids to get back into typing. And I know people talked about alternatives like The Good and the Beautiful, but I just did not see them wanting to do that. And so, and it's still on the computer. So I will say CTC Math is still a problem for my 5th grader because he gets distracted. He'll be like, oh, I want to look up coins, or I want to do this or that. And so he's like, I'm always having to basically I have to just watch him when he's doing his math, or make sure his computer's always facing me because he's always like interested in researching things in the middle of his math lessons. So being on computers is a bit of a problem for us. However, this year for typing.com, I just decided to pay the subscription, and it was actually super, super cheap. I feel like I pay maybe $1.50. I could be wrong, but I feel like it's really close to $1.50 per kid per month. So, I mean, less than $10 per kid. And so that is for the ad-free experience. And so that has been much better for us. And so if you're considering typing.com or typingclub.com, I would definitely consider the subscription just to get rid of those ads. And I do think that typing.com is cheaper than Typing Club. I feel like Typing Club was significantly more expensive than typing.com. So that's why I decided to go with typing.com, though I feel like they're both very similar programs. So that is it. That is everything that we have. I did talk a little bit more last term about how I had to slow things down a bit. I think I gave a pretty good indication on which things we'll be finishing and which things we just kind of roll into the next school year. I do feel like we've done, even though I had to cut back a lot on my curriculum, I do feel like we have been making really good progress. So yeah, so it's been a pretty good year so far. I will say we really work hard during term 2. Term 3 is when things start to get a little bit dicey for us. Things get a little bit harder. Often our term 3 is maybe 10 weeks instead of 12 weeks, just because we kind of just start lagging towards the end. So, I mean, but then we do a little bit of summer school as well. So I guess we just kind of slow down towards the end of term 3, and we just like sort of move it all into summer, or move it slowly into summer. So yeah, so that is what I have to share with you for my 5th and 6th grade boys. Don't forget to check the links below if you want to check out any of these curriculum. Give me a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for coming today, and I hope to see you all in future videos. Bye everyone.